Hi, Darren Brown from Puddleduck. You're going to talk to us about his wines.
Well, Puddleduck is, we're a very small vineyard. We produce about 1,500 cases of wine a year, which we only sell our wine through the cellar door outlet. Currently, we just can't keep up with demand at the cellar door, so we're not actually going into wholesale with our wines. One of the most amazing parts of the business has been our naming. People just love the name and they just call in purely because they just love the name. And so it's taken us a bit by surprise. We're currently producing 7 wines, which we're down to 5 at the moment, soon to be 4 by the end of the day, I'd say. But the first one I've got for you to try is the lovely Riesling. They are drier styles, we don't produce sweet wines at all. And the Riesling is quite limey with a lovely floral nose. It's a sort of style that I suggest people drink over the next 2 or 3 years while it's young and fresh like this with lovely seafood and oysters, or put this away and forget about it for about 10 years. So yeah, this is my personal favourite actually. So
I do like a Riesling myself.
Yeah, they're great varieties, and a lot of people don't understand that they're actually the longest living of all wines. They can't be sweet ones, but dry Rieslings sell absolutely beautifully.
That's excellent. So how long have you been here, Darren, on this site?
We've been working on the property now for some 13 years. When we purchased the property, it was a house and a paddock. We had no idea we'd ever do this to the property, but the only reason why we did buy it was because it was a 3-minute drive to work. And we just fell in love when we started working in this valley, in this industry mind you, and we bought the property because it was close. And I used to get home from work 4:10 in the afternoon, and one day after a little while of that I got a little bit bored and started working on our first vineyard, and it just sort of kept on rolling on, and now it's turned into the full-time job for both my wife and myself.
Enjoying every moment, I like the sound of things.
Well, it's a lifestyle that we've created. We'll never be rich from the scale of operation, but because we do everything, we can live and we enjoy doing what we do. I call this retirement pretty much for me nowadays. I get to stay at home with my wife and my 2 little children.
Sounds good. And do you have a consultant winemaker?
We use a contract winemaking facility, and they make wine for about 35 vineyards from around the state. So they're only 3 minutes away, which is absolutely fantastic. So, second wine up is my wife's personal favourite, Chardonnay. It's a lightly wooded style, so they're not these big over oak things. This has beautiful white peach nectarine sort of flavours with a hint of vanilla coming through from the oak.
And what would be your food recommendation for that?
Food recommendation, more the poultry side of it, chicken, even though it goes quite well with pork as well. Yeah, we've done pretty well with both the previous Riesling and previous Chardonnay have been 94-point wines in Halliday. So,
oh, okay.
yeah.
Because Chardonnay is not generally a variety that's associated with Tasmania in lots of ways, is it?
It's one of our main, it's our second main variety. Our Pinots are our first one at 46%, and Chardonnay is 26%. And a third of all grapes grown, which is Pinot Chardonnay in particular, end up as sparkling wine. So we use it a lot in sparkling wine production.
Okay, and tell us about your sparkling wine.
Our sparkling wine is called Puddleduck. It's a traditional blend of 60% Pinot, 40% Chardonnay, bottle fermented. We leave it on lees for around about 2 to 3 years before disgorgement, and it is a dry, crisp style. I'm going to be able to just head inside for a second.
Yeah.
And start on the Pinots.
Start on the Pinots.
Difference between the 2 Pinots.
Okay,
The 07 is the first Pinot, and then the 08. The 07 we're just about to run out of. It's been in bottle for 12 months. The 08 been in bottle for around about 5 weeks. Big difference between the 2 wines is cropping levels in the vineyard. 07 cropped at 6.5 tonnes per hectare. We thought we could make a much better wine, reducing yields down a little bit. So we reduced the fruit level in the vineyard by about 1/3 to 4.5 tonnes per hectare, and it's just given it a much greater lift, much richer style.
And what's your expectation for your yield this year?
We're working on around about the 4.5 tonne mark for our Pinots at the moment for table wine. Rosé we cropped about 6.5 tonnes, and for the sparkling wine about 5. So I started off in the Tassie wine industry at the age of 17 in 1985, and there were only 8 vineyards in the entire state, and Tassie's total production was 120 tonnes. The Tassie year last year was some 330 odd vineyards, and Tassie cracked 9,600 tonnes. So the Tassie industry is now around about 0.5% of Australia's wine production. But we're definitely out preceding ourselves because we're producing nearly 20% of Australia's super premium wine from that 0.5. So it's all about quality wine, not quantity, coming out of Tassie.
Yes. Getting quite a reputation for the sparklings and the Pinots.
And the Pinots, yeah. We're 46% of all grapes picked in Tassie Pinot, so lots and lots of Pinot production. And as I said, a lot of it goes into sparkling wines. And it's just the right climate down here, so it's still cool, and the vines ripen very slowly, so they develop all these lovely flavours.
Because it has a bit of a reputation as being a hard variety too.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only ever grown Pinot sort of thing. Pinot's been the one variety I've always grown in the last 20 odd years, and the variety I hate growing is Chardonnay. So I love Pinot. Pinot's, I think, it's easier. If you're going to have a problem, you find it happening in your Chardonnay first. So
okay.
I use my Chardonnay as sort of a trial block. If there's going to be a problem in your vineyard, that's where it occurs first.
Okay.
So the 08, as I said, much lower yields, much richer, greater colour. It's
quite different even in colour, aren't they?
Yeah, we've really done a lot of work in the vineyard to produce this.
Oh, okay, and that's
by lowering yields. Yeah, pruning mainly in winter, so by leaving less buds, less shoots, less fruit. Probably the next variety coming through for us will be our Sauvignon Blancs. And that's another thing that Tassie's starting to build up an amazing reputation for. When you mention the word Sauv Blanc in Australia, the majority of them are coming out of New Zealand, lots of New Zealand Sauv Blanc. Yes. At a couple of international wine shows late last year, Tassie Sauv Blancs actually knocked off the New Zealanders. So Tassie Sauv Blancs have been doing very well.
There must be some areas that have similar climatic to New Zealand, isn't there? Some of those. Yeah,
this little valley, we're at the same latitude as Christchurch here. So middle of the South Island, and Marlborough's only, an hour or so just north of there. So yeah, so Tassie's in a nice little position. The East Coast in particular, sort of heading up through the east.
Yes.
We believe there's New Zealand companies trying to purchase land at the moment in Tassie to plant Sauv Blanc. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few years.
It will, because they've been on top of the perch for a while now with the Savies.
Yeah, I think they've got a little bit complacent, and they've really been pushing lots of Sauv Blanc into the industry, and I think the quality of New Zealand Sauv Blancs has taken a bit of a dive. Go and taste some lovely grapes.